Hey, we're ready for chapter 9, Downtown. I opened one eye like it was a periscope going up and scanning the room for safety. I looked left, then right. I didn't see Dad, and Pablo was up and gone. Grandma must have opened the bedroom door and let him out. I slid out of bed and tiptoed over to my dresser. I checked the ashtray for a patch. It was empty. I put my hand in anyway and ran my finger around the inside like I was trying to get the last drop out of a bowl of soup. Okay, I whispered to myself, take a deep breath and do like Mom told you. If you want to make good choices, think one thought at a time. First thought, I figured I could call Mom and tell her right away to come and get me. And then I could listen to her tell me, I told you he was no good, all the way home, and I'd never have another chance with Dad again. Second thought, I could stick with Dad and find out that I was normal without medicine. I wanted to believe what he said. I wanted to believe that I was like any other kid. Third thought, I remembered how I had been without my good meds in the past. Fourth thought, I wanted to give myself another chance. I peeked my head around the edge of the door jamb and saw Grandma leaning against the kitchen counter with the oxygen tank between her ankles. She was knitting something like a scarf for a giraffe. I didn't sleep too well, she said to Dad, who was staring into the refrigerator. Been up all night with nervous worries. You're drinking again. It's not right. Well, I slept like a baby, he said, and stretched his arms like a cat. If you didn't worry so much, you would too. He showered and shaved, and from across the room I could smell his cinnamon chewing gum. Hey, buddy, he said, spotting me when he turned around. I've been waiting for you. Hurry up, there's nothing in the fridge. We'll eat breakfast downtown and you can see the sights while I punch the clock. Yeah, I'd like that, I said. Brush your teeth, he said, and pointed to the bathroom, which reminded me of the night before. I nodded and went into the little room and closed the door and waited to bounce around the walls like a cricket trapped in a shoebox. But nothing like that happened. I just squeezed a perfect line of paste on my brush and brushed my teeth like any normal kid. I washed my face and combed my hair over to cover my bald spot. When I returned to my room and got dressed, the thought of being able to walk around Pittsburgh as a totally normal, drug-free kid was pretty exciting. I felt like I was a caged animal being released back into the wild. I put my tape player in my pocket and my trumpet in my backpack along with the money I pulled out of the pillowcase. I heard Dad start the car and I ran, dodging through the maze of furniture in the living room. Bye, I yelled to Grandma and Pablo, who was busy chewing a hole in the couch cushion. Now, normally I would pull him out and scold him, but I was late, so I let it go. He and Grandma can work that one out without me. Do you want to drive? Dad asked when I opened the car door. Practice makes perfect. Not today, I said, thinking it might be dangerous. If I lost control of myself downtown, who knows how many people would have tire tracks down their backs. As soon as I slammed my door, it was like a starter's pistol had fired, and Dad's mouth was off and running. You know, Joey, I woke up thinking about last night was a turning point in my life. With a couple of flushes of the toilet, I got a load off my chest, and just like that, and he snapped his fingers, you and I are even. All the old guilt is gone, and I'm ready to move forward. I feel like a new man. How about you? I wanted to say last night was a turning point in my life, too, but I wasn't sure just what direction it was going to turn. I don't know if I feel like a new man or my old self, I said. I just don't know, but I'm hoping for the best. Don't worry, he said. By the end of the day, you'll see your dad was right again. You gotta have faith in me, pal. He stuck out his hand. Give me 5, he said. I slapped mine down on his hard enough to leave a blood blister. Then I held mine out. He swung his open hand down and I pulled mine away. He toppled forward and the car swerved to one side. Aren't you ever going to catch on to that? I asked as I helped him back up. I better before it kills me, he replied, and steered the car back between the lines. Then, Once it was clear to me that he was still in a good mood and wouldn't bite my nose off, I said, "You scared me by drinking last night." "Oh, that shouldn't scare you," Dad replied. "I do my best thinking with a little drinking, and look at me today. I'm as good as new. And look at you. No patch, and you're on top of the world." "But I thought you told Mom you quit drinking because she told me to call her if you drink, and now it scares me not to call her." "Well, to be totally honest," Dad said, "your mom would like you to have a dad who didn't act like a man. Don't get me wrong, she's a wonderful woman, but when it comes to men, she thinks we should do everything by her girl rules. But we're men. Joey, we have our own way of doing things, and especially our own way of solving some of life's bigger problems. Like I said last night, we just pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and move on. We don't talk about our problems every single hour of every single day. Do you know what I mean? Plus, your mom would baby you along on medicine for the rest of your life. To me, that's not a solution. Now you can call your mom if you want, but I think you should be a man and prove to everyone that you don't have any problems you can't fix yourself." "Is all of that true?" I asked. "Of course it's true. Man to man, you can't go out into the world for 5 minutes without a woman telling you what to do. Mark my words." When we got to the diner, Dad didn't even ask me what I wanted. "2 Hungry Man specials," he called out to the waitress as we took our seats, "with extra sides." When the order arrived, there was a ton of sausage and bacon and toast with melted butter, silver dollar pancakes and fried eggs, and we chowed down, and it was a good feeling to be hungry and a better feeling as my belly got full as a new moon. "How are you making out?" he asked and wiped a folded slice of toast across his slick plate. "Great, I'm not hyper one bit," I said as I peeled back the sticky tops of all of the little jelly tubs and started to suck the warm jelly right out. "I mean your arm. I'm tired of talking about problems." "That's enough. That's women's talk. Now eat up. You gotta build your strength for the next game." I waved my hand for the waitress. "Excuse me, could I have some more strawberry jelly, please?" "Are you sure this much jelly is good for you?" she asked, and she pointed her pen at all the empty tubs. I didn't know what to say, so I smiled real big, and she gave me some apple jelly, because nobody takes that tasteless stuff. People don't even take it home with them unless they want to use it for glue. As soon as the waitress turned away, Dad leaned toward me. "See what I mean about women always butting in? What should she care if you eat a bathtub full of jelly?" "Okay, while we're talking about man stuff, I put together a new guy plan for us. Now that I got you off the drugs, you might decide you're better off living with me. We'll keep doing the police athletic league circuit until you go to high school. By then you'll be a prospect, and colleges will recruit you. Then you can go to Pitt here in town and pitch for the Panthers. I'll become your agent and get you drafted into the minor leagues, where you'll only spend a short while until the big league team calls you up. Then bingo, you'll be an awesome force. What do you think?" "What will Mom think?" I asked. I'll handle that part," he said, waving his fork across his face. "What do you think?" "You know, I can't help you get back together with Mom if you drink," I said. "I have news for you, Joey. I don't want to get back together with your mom. It's over. She's not the right woman for me anyway," he replied. "Does that mean Lizzie's the right woman for you because she lets you drink?" "That's more to it than that," he said. "But she and I are talking about getting a place together, and I'm sure she'd like it if you were there. Hey, already she likes you better than me. Really, she can't stop talking about you. So what do you think?" I didn't know what more to think, so I just blurted out what I say when I don't have an answer. "Yep. Can I get back to you on that?" I said. "It's a big step." "Speaking of steps," he declared, suddenly looking at his watch, "let's beat feet. People on the bottom of the food chain can't be late." He threw some money on the counter, stuffed a $5 bill in my shirt pocket, and hopped up, and I followed him to the door. "See that building over there?" He pointed towards something that looked like a Greek temple. "That's the War Memorial. I'll meet you there at 4. If you need me earlier, I'll be upstairs setting up chairs in the conference room. Then he started walking quickly in that direction. Thanks for breakfast, I yelled. I stuck out my belly and jiggled it like I was a sumo wrestler. He whipped around and pointed into the air. Hey, don't be a chicken little today. The sky isn't falling, so have fun. He turned and walked off. I looked up into the air and the sky was solid blue, not a crack in sight. You better stay put, I whispered. I'm taking a big chance on me, and I need this to work. When I realized I was speaking to the sky, I closed my mouth and turned around. A woman waiting for a bus was staring at me. I'm not taking drugs anymore, I said. She smiled and turned away. I wasn't sure what to visit first, so I played a game that was always good for getting things started. I stood in place by the bus stop and spun around in circles, faster and faster, with my finger pointing straight out like I was a spinner on a game board of downtown Pittsburgh. When I screeched to a halt, I opened my eyes and followed my finger down the road. I hadn't gone all that far when I saw a video game arcade. Okay, Joey Pigza, I said to myself. If you are going to lose it, this is the place that will send you around the bend. I went inside and changed half of the $5 Dad gave me into tokens, and I took a seat in the race car booth. I thought I would practice my high-speed driving before Dad put me behind the wheel again. I slipped the money in, gripped the wheel, and pressed on the gas. My car peeled out, and instantly it started whizzing around a track with a dozen other Indy cars. We smashed into each other. I spun out and hit a wall. I ran off the road and into bales of hay. I scattered the mechanics as I roared through my pit. Finally, I ran out of time and my car slowed down. You are out of fuel, read the screen. I put more money in and pressed the gas. I didn't care if I won the race or not. It was fun just to swerve like a maniac all over the track and have the other drivers shake their fists at me as I sideswiped them. After I forced one car into the stands, it burst into a ball of flame and set the fans screaming for the exit. For a moment I wondered if I was the one who was out of control. Relax. It's just a game, I told myself. By then I was out of tokens, so I hopped up and I walked outside. I must be doing okay, I thought. Usually when I'm in an arcade, I run from machine to machine and playing everything until I'm totally broke. And then I look all over the floor for dropped money, check the coin returns, and tip machines forward to look under them, and pester the arcade attendant for free tokens until he gives me a few, and when I ask for a few more, he boots me out because it's obvious I'm an out-of-control pest. But I didn't go manic and spend everything. I had my fun. I spent my limit, and I walked away with total self-control. Maybe Dad is right. I don't need the patch. I just need to act like a man. I was so excited about feeling good I wanted to call Mom. Most of the payphones were on outside street corners, and the car horns were louder than my trumpet. So I went into a department store and I found a phone booth by the snack bar. I put in a quarter from Mom's phone money and dialed her number. The operator came on and told me to deposit $3 for the first 3 minutes, please. I did. But the phone rang and rang until after I counted 20 rings, I figured she wasn't there unless she was in the shower. So I let it ring 20 more times. I hung up, got all my quarters back, and I called the beauty parlor. Beauty and the Beast, this is Tiffany. How can I help you? It's me, Joey. Is my mom there? She's on vacation, Tiffany replied. She said she needed a few days to herself. Well, where did she go? I asked, and I could feel my chest getting tight. Didn't say. Maybe Mexico. Mexico? She doesn't know anyone in Mexico. She doesn't even like Mexican food, so why would she even go there? It's just a guess, Joey. Now hold on a minute. I've got another call. Mexico, I thought. Why there? Why didn't she tell me? And I could feel myself getting all twisted up inside like when bad things do happen. Maybe Dad told her I wanted to stay with him, and instead of getting mad, she decided to run off and celebrate. Suddenly, the operator came on and told me to put more money in the phone, so I just hung up and I told myself to calm down. Maybe Mom went down to Mexico to get me another Chihuahua as a surprise for me. And when I came, surprise for me when I came home. Maybe she went to Tijuana, Mexico to hear Herb Alpert. There were many good reasons to go to Mexico. And as Mom always told me, when you feel mixed up, always think positive thoughts. So I ran outside and I cupped my hands around my mouth, faced what I thought was Mexico, and I yelled out at the top of my lungs, "Have a great time south of the border. Bring me back something good." That made me feel much better. Except I had to go to the bathroom, so I raced back inside the store. I was cutting through the boys' clothing section when I passed a kid that looked like somebody I knew. I turned to say hello to him, but realized he wasn't a real kid at all. He was a mannequin. Then I started examining this mannequin. It was the most real-looking one I'd ever seen, and the kid seemed perfect in every way. Oh, excuse me. His hair was just the right blonde and just the right length. Very cool sunglasses covered his eyes, which are blue and bright. The nose was medium size and straight. The lips were barely open, as if he were going to say something perfectly polite. The chin was strong. His skin was as smooth as new vinyl with no bumps, scars, moles, weird hairs, or pimples. Not even freckles. His arms were reaching out as if he were going to catch a beach ball. His bathing suit and t-shirt were new and clean, and he was wearing sandals. Even his feet were perfect. I kept staring at him. There he was, I thought, the perfect kid. I bet he was perfectly normal, too. I wondered how it would feel to be 100% flawless in every way, so that from waking up in the morning to going to sleep at night, he didn't make one mistake. Like I didn't even get itsy bitsy crumbs on the floor, or feel moody, or forget to feed Pablo. Maybe the store should sell perfect kids that could be placed like mannequins around the house, just sitting next to their toy boxes without ever making a mess, or taking fake showers without ever making a huge puddle of water on the floor. Or you could put them out in the front yard like garden statues, waving to the neighbors or holding some goofy flag with a bright flower on it. Mom once said that it was my mistakes that made me interesting. And though I didn't understand then, I did now. Let me just see how much is left. Then I got a great idea. I went to the clothes rack, got a beach outfit, and went to the bathroom to put it on. I hid all my stuff in my backpack, then dashed over to the mannequin. I hopped up and looked on the fake painted beach that I was his friend, and I took his sunglasses off and fit them on my face. I clipped my tape player to my waistband, pressed in my mini speakers, and struck a pose like a lifeguard looking out at the surfers. As people walked by, they didn't notice me or my new friend. But I was looking at them. Most everyone was going somewhere in a hurry, and it got to be no fun standing there with no one looking at me. So then I tried to get their attention. I leaned way forward, and I stuck my tongue out until it started to ache. People just walked by as if it was nothing. I crossed my eyes and drooled so much it dripped off my chin. Nothing I did. Nothing at all. I did fake hiccups. Nothing. Nobody seemed to notice. Because no matter how weird I was, I think they were just as weird. People argued, picked their noses, swatted their kids, talked to themselves, pulled their tight underwear, spit chewing gum out in the corners, and wiped their dirty hands on the clothes, and sang off-key, and did all the strange things that I did, too, which made me feel like I was normal, like they were, and not like my perfect mannequin buddy. Finally, a lady who looked like any kid's mom checked the price of my shorts, and I began to laugh because it tickled. And the woman nearly fainted and started laughing because what I was doing was funny, and she knew it. And I figured she must be nice because most people would pitch a fit. What are you doing? She asked. Spying for shoplifters? Nope, I'm just being a mannequin. I've always wanted to do something like that, she said, but I just didn't have the nerve. The only thing you have to worry about, I whispered, is that someone will yell at you. But if you're somebody like me, then having someone yell at you is no big deal. Well, you better take your place again, she said. You don't want the clerk to spot you. I think I'm finished, I said, stepping down. Time to move on. Today is my day to see if I can be normal and have fun at the same time. She gave me a strange look when I said normal. The last thing in the world I was normal. Oh well, I thought, maybe it's not a good idea to be too normal. It doesn't sound like much fun if it only made you afraid to do stuff you really wanted to. After I got dressed, I went out to the sidewalk, pointed my fingers straight out, spun around with my eyes closed while I sang, round and round and round I go. Where I stop, nobody knows. When I did stop, I was pointing at an ice cream parlor across the street. My lucky day, I said to no one in particular. While I crossed the street, I figured out a little experiment to try. In my mind, I picked out the 2 flavors I would want most on my ice cream cone, chocolate mint and Oreo. But when I went inside to order, I said to the girl, "Give me 2 scoops of your most normal flavors." "What if you don't like them?" she asked. "I'll spit them out," I replied. "I'm not really hungry for ice cream. It's just a test." She made me pay first. Then she gave me a scoop of vanilla and a scoop of chocolate. "These are our 2 best-selling flavors," she said, handing the cone to me. "Are you kidding me?" I said. "No, the plain flavors are the most popular." Well, I thought as I left, I'm not plain either. When I finished the ice cream, I closed my eyes and spun around and wondered where I'd land next. When I stopped and opened my eyes, I was pointing at a church with bright red doors. I hadn't been in a church since Grandma took me when I was little. I had filled my pockets with marbles, and during the sermon they got loose under the pews. They made a loud racket, but nobody laughed like I did. After that, Grandma made me stay home with her to watch church on TV. I opened the huge red door and quietly tiptoed up the aisle. The chapel walls were glowing with tall blue and red glass windows. I'm going to stop.